First, let me apologize. My voice is just about gone here. I have some illness, cold of some sort. I definitely wouldn't be doing a video here, but I just watched Webhead's video, and it really got me sort of fired up. First of all, let me say, you should check Webhead's channel. He does a lot of great stuff. He's a cool guy. I've talked to him. I like you, Webhead. I do. But I think you're completely wrong here, or like 100% wrong. And it comes down really to gaming paradigm. That's really what we're talking about here with experience, and as game masters ourselves, how we wish to bring that play about. And with your style, you're saying, you want to put everyone on an equal footing. I do not like this style at all. If I was playing in a game that you or Aaron were running, I guarantee you I probably would have to drop out. It would be an issue to me for not rewarding the player who's making the contributions, not rewarding those individuals. I don't believe in this sort of socialist or communist idea of sharing the wealth. This, I'm going to call it no gamer left behind. Leave them behind. If they're going to get their feelings hurt and not come back, if they're your low end player, that's unfortunate. But what I like to do is, not really get with those sort of players anyway, and develop a game that can come to that level of being artistic. With that sort of game where you don't have the competition, you say competition doesn't bring out, actually good exact quote here, but something along the lines of competition doesn't bring out anything positive. I completely disagree. I've been doing role-playing games for 23 years. I've been doing athletics for about 30. I've been very, very involved in many different athletics throughout my life, and particularly martial arts, and competition makes people better. It brings out a higher level in people. People don't want to be at the back end there. They want to be running at the front of the pack, and it's going to force people, particularly when that's where you're getting your experience from, to engage more, to contribute more, to think more outside of the game about your game. And that sort of evocative idea is really what you want. You want them thinking outside of the game. I have players who email me all the time, questions. They'll be putting information together about the game, and they'll be emailing me. They'll be trying to acquire any more information. They'll be talking about new ideas and new ways to produce their characters. I'm going to do a video about producing your character too soon, but to really get into that full depth and try to come as close as we can in our game to making the game art, to making the game at that high level. And if, of course, through gaming you're going to have vast version of skill levels. If we talk about baseball, we're talking about people that can't play off a tee versus people that are Hall of Fame material. I don't see why somebody who's playing at a much lower level should be rewarded to the same degree as someone who is actually making the game fun for you. I'm going to actually address some of your points here. Exactly. The idea of a pool for experience points, I think, is not a good idea at all. If you said basically one player is contributing, and then that player ends up only getting a fourth or a fifth or a sixth, or however many players you get of the experience points he earned for everyone else, that just doesn't make any sense at all to me. Why that experience wouldn't go directly to that player, and then also encourage other people to earn their own experience points. But I think this is really, and the reason I'm kind of getting into this, to be a little passionate here, to the point of doing a video and subjecting all of this terrible voice, is that this is really, like I said, really a paradigm issue, and game masters really need, and I'm not trying to convert Aaron or Webhead. I'm pretty sure you guys are set in your ways, as all of us old guys are, but there are a lot of new guys out there, the subscribers watching this, and I think it's very important for them to hear a different opinion from what you guys have from another veteran of the hobby. And I think it's very important for you guys to strongly consider what removing elements of competition will do to your game. You will have a game where people are not trying as hard. Your top level players are going to phone it in. They are not going to sit around and work to the level that in my games I demand a lot of work from my players. If you want to be one of my top players, you're going to have to put a lot of work, and you're going to have to think about how to bring your character in and make it more interesting and continue to entertain me as a game master, continue to entertain the other players. Because you talk about awesome points. I have done something like that for a long time. I allow everyone at the end of the night to make a secret vote on who they think was the best player, and that person is going to get more experience points from the other players for their role playing. So everyone else is already involved in that. And I do bonus a little bit more for weaker players if they really stepped up. I kind of set against a bar for people. Now you might turn in a good amount of experience for doing something, but if say the weakest chain really steps up and is the strongest that night, they're going to get more for that effort than the strongest player would have, turning in the same performance. And I definitely think that's good to encourage people in that way. But simply to give everybody a trophy for participation, I mean that whole idea is just really just ridiculous to me. I can't really say how strongly I disagree. And but like I said, I don't want to come across like I'm trying to disrespect these guys or their style. It may work very well for their group, for what they're trying to accomplish, and this style might have inherent problems as well, and they might have problems for them, for their personalities, for the personalities of their group. And that's one of the different things you have to understand, that's the psychology of individuals and acquiring the right group. You can't just grab any random 6 gamers and toss them in front of a game master. Your group isn't going to necessarily work that well. You need to find people that are going to get together with a right style, and that's itself a whole nother video. But for new game masters, you might want to try Aaron's approach, and you might want to try Whiphead's approach, and you might want to try my approach in different campaigns and see how it stimulates them. Now, I'll give you an example. I demand that all my spellcasters write all of their spells out. You have to write them out. You have to recite them as if you're doing the spell. You have to get up, move your hands around, talk in a certain way. Some of my people will say, "Oh, I'm going to go online and find a translator," and their spells are in a Draconic, which they found us some translator, or an Elven, or I've used Old Norse for my spells before, and you're bringing that extra level in. And I've seen people try to, in kind of sloppy games, emulate that, and the player will they'll cast a spell, and then they'll do the spell again later, and it'll be a different spell. They won't say the same things, they won't comport themselves in the same fashion. It's not helping suspend that disbelief, and the players are helping me create that world of disbelief. I'm certainly going to bonus that person. Why would you go through all the extra effort? It takes a lot of time to do this. I will guarantee you it takes hours to write all your spells down like this over the course of a campaign. Why waste that time if you're not going to be rewarded for that? So that's definitely something I want to get here. And I would also have to say I very much disagree with your idea of the snowball effect. As like I said, I played with this style, and what I think you're going to actually do with this style, Whiphead, is you're going to pull your strongest player down, and you're going to run him over with that snowball. You're going to get him caught up. You're going to bring the game down to a more beer and chips level, as opposed to pushing it up to a more art level. Of course, a lot of what I'm saying here is kind of harsh, and I do mean to come across that way, because I think that this is an extremely important issue when you're dealing with how we should game. And again, I'm not trying to convert either of you guys. This is really more for the new gamers out there. I found it can be very hard to teach an old gamer new tricks, and I'm sure I'm going to fall just as guilty as that as anyone else. Let me take a look here at my other notes. And again, you talk about the good time for all. Well, the good time, the player's good time responsibility really is to the game master. The game master's good time responsibility is to the players. And, I think that individually you should be rewarding people with energy. My video on giving the game master energy. It's your responsibility as a game master to make sure that that your players are playing in a way that you like. But they should be rewarded for that. If the rewards are individual, people are going to try harder. That's really, I think, going to be very difficult on any of the opposition to this idea. Any of you that are in the opposite camp from me on this, I think it's going to be very difficult for you to refute that. Competition drives people to produce better. That's proven, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to apply that concept to your game. Let me just take a more look. I want to direct really what you were saying very, very directly, so I'm going to pause here for a second. And I don't think that you should pick on someone, but I do think you should push, or, I think Aaron used the word wallflowers, and I think we can all know what that means. Push that player, push, somebody's girlfriend that they brought in there, push, your weak player who just doesn't seem to be getting it, and, you don't necessarily need to pick on them. But you do need to push them. You do need to get them to perform at a higher level. because if they are going to be completely left behind by the rest of the players, it's probably not a good game for them anyway. They probably need to find something at a lower caliber for themselves. But that doesn't mean that they can't. That special effort, and I certainly think that special effort on the Game Master's part should be made for every person. You should give spotlight time to every person. I have a lot of ways to do that. That's several videos, in fact. But you can't, at the same time, while you're trying to pull someone, push someone else down. You can't make the lead dog run slower, and that's what any of this style is definitely going to do. I've played this style many times from many different Game Masters over 23 years. This is not an alien or new idea to me at all. I've never liked it. I've always thought the player who's doing the best should be rewarded, even if that player was someone besides myself. And I always try to be that player. But I've been in a game where someone else was really just rocking it and blowing it away, and I think that person should be the person getting the higher experience points. Even like I said, even if I don't come out on that position. So that's really one of the repercussions is you're not going to have your best players playing at their best. They're going to phone it in. They're going to be lazy. People are naturally very lazy, and if they think a C+ effort is all they need, they're not going to go for that 100%. And I want my players trying to get that 100% and extra credit on top of that. Really the key is if you as a game master work hard, you do your homework, you do your prep work, you make your world pop, you make it believable so that people can suspend their disbelief, they're going to show up. The players are going to show up. So that really seems to be the sort of underlying idea here. The players are going to get upset and drop out of your game. Now, players are going to show up. I do a lot of work. I can get a lot of people to come over to my game. And maybe some people, aren't going to be a good fit for that, and they aren't going to stay around. But people are going to show up if you do your work. They want to play. You're the one. Sean Connors talks about that a lot. The value of the game master. You don't need to worry too much about the players not showing up. If you're putting a real quality game together, they're going to be there. And if you allow them to be lazy, they will be lazy, and your game will suffer for it. Your game is only as good as the players allow it to be, and as good as you can push it to. Now, if you push them and you push yourself, and you're continually trying to be better, my idea in gaming is always to push to be better. I'm of the artistic mind of gaming. A lot of people aren't. It's just, beer and chips fun. And if that's the kind of game you want, don't take my advice on a lot of this stuff, because it's going to be kind of irrelevant. Just play for what's fun, the cheesy one-liners, out of character jokes, all that sort of stuff doesn't fly with me. But in your group, that might be more to you guys liking of just an enjoyable night together. But I find those sort of games don't really get people coming back. Those aren't the kind of games that people are canceling going to something they want to see to come show up to the game, because they're like, well, this game is more going to be more fun to me when you have that high level of suspended disbelief. Let me take another look at my notes here that I put down in Webhead's video. You talk about fair share, everyone getting their fair share, and I'm going to actually go on to say just objectively that is just incorrect use of fair share. Fair share isn't, basically with the experience points is you say put it in a pool. It's like everybody brought something to a potluck dinner, and one person brought steaks and another person brought crackers, and we should just all divide everything evenly, because while the person that brought crackers did make a contribution, I'm going to have some of those steaks. That's where I am, and I don't see why someone who went as potluck spends $100 should get the same share as someone who has spent $2.35. That's the kind of difference you can have from a high-end to a low-end role player in your game, and dividing the other person's share is not fair. What a fair share is to reward someone based on the merit of their performance. That is really what I'm trying to get across with this video. That is the paradigm from which I come in terms of a game master. I do not like the communist approach. I do not like the no gamer is left behind approach. And if you want to be able to push yourself and push your players and have your game at the highest level, rewarding for excellence is the surest, easiest, and most likely way to get you there. It's something you really need to think about for all you new gamers out there. And again, if I've come off harsh here, Webhead, I definitely don't mean that towards you to be a harsh way. I'm just very much a straight shooter. And as again, I do like Wavehead's videos, and you should check those out. There's a lot of great stuff there. But on this one, we do not agree.